Hello, beautiful artists. I am today just playing with a little design that I'm thinking I'm going to make some of my cards for October, my fall cards to send out. So I thought I'd go ahead and do that with you here. I'm going to be using my 8 round, which by the way, let me just find it. You can also use the beautiful Velvet Touch from Princeton. I love this brush because it's really cushy and soft. It's got a short handle, nice snappy bristles. So that brush is perfectly okay as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use that, any 8 round you have. I also just have handy dandy here, my little tube. Which I will link all these things down below if you want to follow along. And let's see. Oh, I am going to be, I think I'm going to go around the border. I don't know if you can see, but I have a border around here. And I think I'm going to go around that in with the gray. So what I'll first do is, let me reach my erasers here, is I'm actually going to lighten that border because I have a feeling it might show through the gold. So sorry for that camera shake if it is. So I'm going to go ahead and lighten that because I don't want it to show through my gold. I just want the gold to be gorgeous and beautiful all on its own. Okay, there we go. All right. So what I'm going to do first is I did this years ago for a card and it really turned out pretty. So I've got, by the way, I'm using my 140-pound cold press. This is the Artisto pads. I'll give you the link below. They're fabulous. They've got a great texture. And as you know, I save all these and I just label them and I kind of journal them and look back to them. So this is my going to be my fall for 2025. I think it says summer, but I'm trying to use that one up. Okay, so I've got my Lane palette here, and I'm going to just use that. So let's go into some of that orange, since it's going to be a fall card. And I'm going to put some of that in my palette and then add in a little bit of water. So it's about 50-50. It's pretty much moving around. And by the way, I've also got my beautiful little ceramic MEEDEN dish. It's beautiful on your desk. It's ceramic. I don't like plastic containers, and I like these because they're big and wide. You've got one side to wash your brush really well, one side to rinse, and that's really important in watercolors. So kind of quickly, I'm going to go around here and just tap in some of that orange. I'm going to rinse my brush, then I'm going to grab some of the red and I'm going to splatter that in. So we've got kind of a nice little mix here. And then what I'm going to do is, actually what I think I'll do is I'll just kind of spray that. Ooh, isn't that cool? Because what happens is, however I spray this, that's how the color flows. Isn't that so cool? I love that. So now what I'll have to do is, it's quite wet. So, you know, at home, you can go ahead and take this, let it sit. I'm going to try and use my heat gun, which is on its last leg, so pardon the noise. I'll try and edit this out. As you know, I'm not the best at editing. Got a horrible rattle. And I'm letting parts of it extend outside the border because I think that's kind of cool. I want to keep it a little bit light because I'm going to paint over it. There we go. So I just want this faint background. So there you go. That's pretty well dry. And you'll notice, because look at how much lighter it got. But watch the fantastic background this is going to give me. So I'm going ahead and just rinsed my brush. Now see, there's a tiny bit of red in there, so I'll rinse it again. There we go. And then I'm going to go back into that orange, which I've got right here. And again, it's about 50-50. I'm going to tap off my brush, tap, 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 because look at all that paint that comes off. And now I'm going to go in and just start painting some of these areas. Just using light pressure. Let's do one here. So this is a little bit of a glazing technique, but it's so fun. So I'm still going to get some of that color kind of bleeding through, which I love. And then I'm going to rinse my brush, go in and pick up a tiny bit of that red, tap, tap, tap. Maybe tap in at the bottom. Wash and rinse my brush. Tap it off, grab a little bit of our yellow. There we go. By the way, cad yellow, it's quite bright, so make sure you add plenty of water, 50-50 water. Tap, tap, tap. And now we'll go in and look at the fun, beautiful spread. Point press. I don't want to work this too much because I love that underglazing. And if you're not taking advantage of glazing, which is just light layers, light value layers, oh my gosh, you're missing so much of the magic. That is watercolors. So now what I'm doing is just dotting in a little bit of the orange. Tap, tap, tap. Maybe even a tiny bit of that red. There we go. And I let it go because I want it to really blend on its own. So we'll go to our next little pumpkin here, and I'll start with that orange again. And just painting in some of these beautiful orangey fall colors. Ah, so pretty. I love fall. There we go. Some more. And then I can tap in at the bottom with just a tiny bit of that red. Look how pretty. Just like that. And that'll keep blending. And now maybe let's go for some yellow ochre. So I've got some yellow ochre here, which is a really nice warm fall color. Tap, 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 tap my brush off. And let's go in here, kind of to those back spots. Ah, so pretty. We're gonna do these leaves too. And I'll make a kit for you for this. They're only $2.50 and they help me. You know, your donation of and your support of $2.50 really helps me with my supplies and things like that. There we go. I'm just using very light pressure with the tip of my brush. Look at how cute that little leaf is. I think I'm gonna add a touch of brown. Just here and there, and then I just let it go. If you really want to make it spread more, you could always tap in water. Just a tiny bit of water. That will really add some nice effects. And then let's continue here. So I'm gonna go in with, let's see, what color should we do in there? Let's do a little bit of that yellow ochre and a little bit of the orange. So I'll grab some of that, tap, 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 little bit of that orange. And it's just gonna give us a little different color. Look at that nice thin line I can get with my Velvet Touch brush. There we go. And we'll keep going, just tap, tap, tap. Let's see here, I think. There we go. Just painting in the back of our pumpkin. And let's even go into some of that with just a tad bit of green. So I'm grabbing some of my olive green and we'll just touch in. Ooh, yeah, I like that. So fall, right? Oh, love it. I love all the different colors in my pumpkins. And then we have one more little pumpkin here. So let's go there. Some more of that orange. Tap, tap, tap. And paint that in. I'm gonna grab a tiny bit more orange. Not getting real picky with my brush strokes here. Keeping them pretty spontaneous and applying light pressure, so I just grab the tip of my brush and then opening the belly to get a little wider brush stroke in the middle there. Let's tap in some of our red. Oh, so pretty. Maybe some of that orange, actually brown. We could even do some green. Just makes it really interesting. And now that's a form of shade of glazing right there. So I'm just picking up a tiniest bit, probably. And this is Van Dyke Brown, I believe, here in my palette. 80% water, 20% color, and just a glaze. When you're glazing, to have a really light value is important, meaning a lot of water. But look at that, it glazes over, but yet it's still allowing the orange to come through. It just gives this beautiful glaze. And if you want to kind of soften that edge, you can do that. There we go. And we have one more little leaf here. So I'm gonna go in with my orange, tap, tap, tap. There we go. And maybe a tiny bit of our brown and yellow ochre. Just like that. You can always pick some of that up if you want. And now let's go in with our stem. So I think for that I will use my olive green. About 50-50, load your brush and then tap, tap, tap. Look at all that paint that comes off. And let's go into this one up here. Point, press, open that belly. And point, press, open the belly, and then tap in. Do this one here too. Point, press, open the belly, and then come on down. And we've got our little stems. Isn't that so fun? Now here's the best part. I'm gonna grab some, and you know what, actually what I should have done is I should use a really, really tiny brush to go around the edge. Oop, I got a splatter there too. And I'm gonna go around with this gold. Isn't that fun? Pick up a little bit more. I use my gold quite thick because I just feel like it shows up more. There we go. And this is the MAB, which I've been using for several years. I love it. There we go. This is the, I believe that's the Brilliant Gold in her series. And you know what? I did draw a line here to follow, but I don't even really care so much about that. Like if it goes a little wonky, it goes a little wonky. And look how fun that is. Tiny bit of water. Just keep following through. Oh, these are gonna make the prettiest cards. Look at that wonderful washy background. There we go. And the rest of our border. I really wanted the border to be a little bit light. Let me grab something though. Hold on one second. Okay. Let's see here. One second, guys. Okay, let me try this. I almost feel like that might have been a different color. Yeah, see, they're a little bit different in color. Let's try this one. I think it might have just a tiny, because I like the Brilliant Gold. That's what this one is for sure. It says it on there. And I'm trying to also load the side of my brush because you don't want to load the tip. You'll ruin your tip. Oh yeah, that shows up a little bit more. So I think that one I had was a little bit different gold. The set has 4 of them in there. I'm trying not to lean my hand over my painting. Look at that. So pretty, you guys, right? Let's try this again, trying to go in with the side of my brush. Oh my gosh, this is the card. This is my fall card, you guys. I just decided now that I painted it, I love it. And isn't that pretty? I'm done. The only other thing I'll do is make sure you always do this because you are a beautiful artist and your artwork deserves to be signed. By the way, look at that lovely background we created so easily. So I will make this that $2.50 kit. It'll have the drawing, the colors I used, and the little key tips you can use to go with your painting. So there you go. So fun. I love it. Look at, I gotta hold this up one more time because this is one of the reasons I love watercolors. They're magical, you guys. Look at these beautiful glazes and underpainting that shows through and the beautiful blends. Isn't that fabulous? All right, everybody, happy painting. Thank you for being here. You guys are the best. You are my go-to every day. I love reading your comments. And if you want to share your painting too, by the way, hop on over to Patreon. There's a free tier there. You can hop into the conversation, share your paintings. We're always having so much fun. And the girls there are so, so fantastic and supportive. All right, I will see you soon. Remember, you are an artist. And most of all, just enjoy, have fun,